Hello.
Yes, Ravi, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so you can find me on Twitter, Ravi Ramesh.
Yeah, there is some disturbance coming in.
That's fine.
A little better, but still there.
Okay, now it's fine.
No, we are still getting the disturbance.
Hello. I hope it's
Yeah, let's start.
okay. So let's start with my introductions. I'm senior manager at NetSquare. I'm also hacker and trainer. You can find me on Twitter, Ravi Ramesh. So So I'll present on Owasp A1 injection. So you can say you can find the injection in SQL, SQL queries, OS, LAP injections, and you can occur when untrusted data when sent to interpreter and as a part of command or query. So let's start with attack vector. What is the attack vector? So you can find injection anywhere in environment variable, parameters, external and internal web services, and all types of users interactive communication. So injections flow occur when attacker can send hostile data to an interpreter. Security weaknesses, so you can find injection flow in particular legacy code, like in injections headers. You can find in this kind of injection in SQL queries, LDAP queries, XPath queries, SQL queries, OS commands, XML parser, SMTP headers, expression languages, and ORM queries as well. So you can just need to fuzz or scan into particular parameter or headers, you can easily find such kind of injections. And what is the impact? So through that injections, you can results like data loss, corruption of data, disclosure and unauthorized parties, and loss of accountability and denial of access as well. Uh, Okay, so we'll cover in one is OM1 injections, code injection, and server side include injection. We will cover in Ajay 2 SQL injection, NoSQL injection, and ORM injection. ORM injection covers Hibernate query language injections, Java persistent query language injection, JPQL injection, DQL injection. We'll cover in Ajay 3. So we'll cover in SSJI, CRLF injection, IMP injection, SMTP injection, in a J4, LDAP injection, XPath injection, hosted injection. In a J5, expression language injection covers the object graph navigation language injection. We'll cover also in server side template injection, and in a J6, XML injection and XSLT injection. We divide in 6 parts. So let's start with the first adhyay. It covers OS command injection, code injection, and server side include. So in OS command injection, you can inject or attacker can inject and execute operating system commands. In code injection, attacker can inject the code, and code will interpreted and executed by the application itself. You can say it's code injection. In SSI, in SSI is a directives to present a web application used to load dynamic content of the HTML page. So through that, you can achieve the command injection in SSI injection itself. So what is OS command injection? So all you know, if you able to execute OS command on the server side, so you can consider it's a OS command injection, right? So I need to first clear the OS command injection and remote code execution is not same. So in OS command injection, you can cover only, you can put only command, OS command, and it's execute on the server side. Whenever in code injection, that you put your own code and it will execute on the server side and executed by application itself. So you can say that it's remote code execution. So OS command injection and remote code execution is totally different. So let's one example. Attacker can send their OS command like slip5 and some ID command to the application, and application sends the command to the server side. And in server, through OS command, you can compromise the full system and get a full system access. Through system access, you can access the database server and app server admin application as well. And if you get the application server and itself, you can search full network traffic and whole network scan. Through network scan, you can find the local network assets, and if they implement the AD server and domain controller in network, you can also fire the AD commands through the network itself. So where you may find the command injection. So let's start with black box. Like if the application is built based on ARM device like Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and it's based on a programming language like anywhere like Go language, PHP, Node.js, or may occur the application written because it's various application implemented through web application. You can find operating system like Windows, Linux, and Unix itself. You can find OS command injection in network printers because printer have its own web console and printer firmware. You can find OS command injection in IoT device as well. So enterprise cameras, routers all have a web console and firmware itself. And you can find OS command injection in medical device. So device controllers and web console available for every majority medical devices. So let's start with OS command injections. Once user or attacker passes the unsafe user supplied data, it's everywhere like cookie, HTTP headers, parameters, and you can get OS command injection or system cell. So you can consider is a OS command injection. So there is a two types of OS command injection. First is a result-based injection. So in result-based, there is a two type of, again subtypes of. First is a classic result-based command injection. It involves a cell sock. Third is a you can cover your data or attack on data using leak your data using ICMP exploitation, and you can leak data using DNS exploitation as well. And second type is a dynamic code evaluation based. You can say eval based execution. So majority eval based execution covers in code injection itself, but sometime in code injection you not found any system function or OS command injection. So you can consider is only code execution, and if you execute OS command, so you can consider is a result-based dynamic code evaluation. And second type is a blind command injection. So in blind command injection, again there is a two separate sub types. First is a time-based blind OS command injection, and second type is a file-based. It's called semi-blind, and temporary file-based. It's also semi-blind injection. So let's start with the result-based command injection. So regularly you observe, you put some ID command and any command, and response itself display your command output, right? So you can find your result of the injected command through your response. So we can consider it's a result-based command injection. So there is two types of classic result-based and dynamic coagulation. So first, let's start with the classic result-based injection. So attacker make use of several common operators like its concatenate initial genuine command with the injected one, and the second type is exclude the initial genuine command and execute your payload. So in Windows and Unix system, there is a separator is common like AND sign, double AND, pipeline, and double pipeline. In Unix-based system, you can put more two separator, colon and new line character. And Unix-based system also like backtick and dollar character to perform inline execution. So I have put one example: echo hello username is ID. So let's highlight it. I have mentioned the hello username and backtick ID. It means when this command is executed, then first it's executed by inline command. Its first ID is executed and it will append your output to hello username is. It's similar. You can put a dollar character like dollar and in bracket ID. So ID command will first execute and append with hello username is. So classic result-based command injections in first, when you send your command, dir, who am I, and different vector using a pipeline, double pipeline, and backtick. So if server is Windows-based, you can consider as a pipeline command, and it will display the output. And if it is Linux-based, there are several AND sign, double AND, colon also supported, and backtick. That's dollar and pipeline again. So you can consider the difference in Windows and Linux itself. So the second type is a cell sock. So it's a base bug, base cell bug. So based on the CWE, the definition is a GNU based to 4.3 processor trailing the string. So in sort once it's set environment variable, so which allows the remote attacker to execute arbitrary code via crafted environment variable and demonstrated vectors in force command features in open SSHD and mode CGI or mode underscore CGID module in Apache as well as HTTP server. So I have put some example. If you set environment variable, so during the environment variable, you can break the string and you can execute your command as well. So you can send CGI bin repository, you can send user agent in such manner. So let's same example how it's work like if I am user, I'm sending my user agent to the application server, and application server say to base can you remember that? So base always say that like okay, I will remember that you are using the Chrome 81, but as an attacker I'm sending the user agent string with some evil command. So server send that same command to base cell and say, can you remember that? So that cell say, okay, I'll remember that you are using the Chrome 81 and whatever you pass in do evil, it will execute it. So third portion is ICMP exfiltration, how to data leak using ICMP packet. So all you know that ping utility use the ICMP packet, right? And ping utility have a -p options to send a pattern of 16 byte to fill out the packet. Okay, so you can send some packet through your injection. Suppose if you send OS command injection to the server and server not respond at all, or server not displays the output, so that time you need to leak data using such kind of technique. You can say out of band technique, or you can say there's a result based technique also. So let's consider one example. So okay, let's start. I have created one listener Python script. It will listen the ICMP protocol, and I start the Python script. So I execute some ls command. It not displays result. I have also put the ls-la. It's not display any result on the web page. So I will create some ICMP based payload. So its payload similar to I first execute some command OS command, and it's passed to the XXD. It will convert into 16 byte line, and it will read the data and ping using -p options and send to the server. So I'll put my server IP in particular ping command, append with ping command, and loop is going on, and when I enter, my server listens the ICMP packet and you got the ls-la command output. Okay. Let's going with cat etc passwd. So once you execute this command, you can receive the ICMP packet, and it displays on your server side. Okay. So this is ICMP based exfiltration. Let's start with the DNS exfiltration, how you leak your data using DNS. So there's similar way using ping, that you need to just set up your DNS server. So in victim machine, you need to execute your command, which consider is a 63 character OS command, because DNS its own limitation in subdomain part. In pipeline through, you read the whole data, and just using host command, you send your data to burp collaborator. So you can consider as a like different manner. You can execute your OS command and convert into base 64, but you wrap it out your output into 63 character, read data, and send to the attacker machine. So let's start with one example. I have opened my burp collaborator, and similar manner, I execute ls command. There is no output on the response. I execute some script like a 63 character OS command and while loop. I just paste it out. In this manner, you need to make sure your command output is less than 63 or 63 character. So I use the uname. Uname always send your machine name. So I put my burp collaborator URL and just hit enter. It will execute, and you find DNS call, and you find this as a subdomain name is a Linux. So I can leak my data using DNS encryption. What if my file contain more than 63 character? Okay, so there is a one more options. So I also say like domain label must start with a letter and end with a letter or digit. And based on the RFC 1035, the label must be 63 character or less. So I created one victim command, your OS command, and wrap using a 63 character base 64, and read your data, and passes host command. I use -w0 means it's only one time resolution, and there's no wait, and I put attacker IP as here. On attacker side, you need to execute tsar and listen the UDP port 53, and some put your filter DNS query type is equal to 1 and DNS flag response is equal to 0. Let's give an example. So this is my server, and if similar manner, if you execute command, there is a no output. So on the server side, you put T star to read the UDP packet, and you just put your DNS command. Like I use the cat etc passwd using my uh, DNS exploitation. Just I enter, and you can see that every line have a 2-time repetition, because whenever host command is executed, if once time fail, it will try once again. So you can find the 2-time repetition. So you can overcome using my second command tcp down. I put some grep and awk script up and using some kind of substring and length and previous line. So it will reduce your burden into 2-time repetition. But you need to just wait to process the whole stuff using TCP dump. I just hit the enter using the second command, and you need to just wait to receive the all collect all command, and it displays the base 64 in chunks of 63 character. Once your loading is completed, just copy paste this output and just base 64 decode. Using base 64-D for decoding, and you can find the whole output using DNS Exploitation. Okay. Let's move to the dynamic code evaluation. So many language put for the particular operation, they use the eval function, and eval function you can put your own code and execute your OS command. So if I send some malicious command will be executed on the server side, and I consider one example in Python. So whenever I put my input, it will put it into eval function. So this short OS specific Python code to just displays the eval function. So once I send some os.system command and put my OS command in it, so I can find out the DNS query. So my command will be executed using the eval function. So every language its own eval function, and you need to just figure out what is the eval function and how to pass the specific system or specific syntax, how to build a syntax and execute your OS command. So second type is a blind command injection. So blind command injections is nothing but your command is executed on the server side, but you have no any way to retrieve directly your output. So you can say your payload is executed on the server side, but you can find any way. So that time you need to find this kind of blind injection. So there is a two types of blind injection is there: time-based blind and the file-based blind. So in time-based blind, attacker can attack and inject the payload and execute command that involves and introduce using time delay. Okay. So in this case, you can find the time delay, but not any output. So I can say response in output, you can't find any response output. You can find a delay with sleep. Yes, you will find that response with the delay. ICMP packet, maybe you can't find the ICMP pattern. Maybe you can't find a DNS result problem. So we need to create such kind of command, like if I'm using a cut-c1, it will return first character of the string. If I use the cut-c2, it will return the second character of string. What if I put cut-c1 and pipeline to tr? So if I put a trxy and it match with the first character with x, if it's match, then it return y. So if I use the who am I and my user is root, So I pipeline into using the cult. So it will get a first character R, and I'm using a TR-A5. It means it matches R with A. If not right, so it return my actual result R. If it match, then it returns 5. Okay. So in this second case, R is matched, so it returns 5. In third case, my second character O, so TR it will return a 5. So I made some command like sleep, or actually your OS command, just cut -c, and whatever character you want to get, pipeline with TR, whatever character sequence you match, and if it's matched, how much time you want to sleep. So let's one demo. I just find out one OS command in CMD parameter. It's reflected, but it's not display the output. So I put sleep file. So once I send this request, server will delay with 5 seconds. You can easily identify using 5 to 28 milliseconds. So result is confirmed. You here is a OS command injection. So you need to just build some command to uh, get data using sleep function. Okay, so I use uname function for getting the username uname pipeline cut -c1. I just put a URL encoding in it. Just send to the intruder because we need to brute force some position and character itself. So you need to just select the first position of the character and this character sequence, what you were to match. So I just select the first position and the character sequence in tier. Just put a in first position. We need to add a number. So zero number is not possible, so remove the zero. And you need to just attack type as a cluster bomb because we need to brute force on second position as well. So in this case, you need to just put A to Z capital and small because we don't know the output character sequence. So just I add A to Z and start the attack. Position is already set. Yes. You need to just display the response received or response completed. Just sort out the response, and if it delay with more than 500 millisecond, sorry 5,000 millisecond, so you can mapping with payload position. The first payload position is the L, fourth one U, fifth one X. So once you merge the position, you can find the output using a totally blind. Okay, let's move into another file-based technique. I can consider it as semi-blind because we need to check and we need to find the writable directory. So once you execute your command, you need to put those command output into some directory, and you need to write or you need to find which is accessible to the attacker. So I'm using the greater than operator to append my or put my content or output into some file. So let's start with one example. You can consider is a second order injection. If you put your command here, you know can't able to display the command output in the same page, but you need to put your output into some different file which is accessible to the attacker. So I just put my file and write file in uname.txt, which is accessible in the same domain. So if I open the uname.txt, so you can find the output of the server. So if I want to some cat etc password file, you can use the similar manner, and you need to just check that same file uname.txt and just refresh the page, you can find output of the file, right? Out of the command. So let's move. Temp file based technique. In temp file based technique, nothing but if you not found any way to write your file, or you can consider like your server is running with a different user and different user not have permission to write a file in where www directory. So you can put your file in temp directory or where temp directory, and you read the file using a slip command, using blind OS command injection. So this technique called the temp file based technique. Okay, it's nothing but some, you need to just bypass this limitation and attacker apply to temp based command injection and read the file of content. So that's a combination of two different technique, like file, put the file and read the file using the blind OS command injection. Some bonus exploitation using Netcat. You can use in backtick. Backtick directly execute your command first, and you can cat file and pipe to Netcat, and you just Netcat to particular server with a different port. Using curl, yes, if curl is available on the server side, you can use curl hyphen capital F, and you put your file into post data, just get a file and pipe to the curl, and using bulk collaborator, you can leak your data. Using wget, in similar manner, wget provide the hyphen post hyphen data parameter to send post data. You just put a value parameter, and in bracket I'm using the $sign to execute my command. If I put a cat etc passwd, it's first consider cat your file and send to the bulk collaborator server using post manner. Once you find your server is running on Windows machine, but you can't find the wget, curl, or netcat file on the server side, so you can use the net.exe. It's the default exe provided by Windows. So you just set up your SMB server on attacker side and use the drive mapping, and you need to just copy paste using a command, and you leak your data. Like I'm using the net.exe use, and r colon means it's mount r drive, and uh, copy c colon windows win.ini file to r drive. So once you mount the drive in your side, you can find the win.ini file. So you can leak source code and whatever file you want, just put and copy paste your file into the mounted directory, and just mount same directory in your side. Using telnet, also if telnet binary is available, you can execute this command and data leak using telnet, and you need to just read using netcat, just hyphen l hyphen p, and whatever port you mention in telnet, just mention the port, and you can find the output. Okay, so in last portion of the OS command injection, you can use your own technique. It's not limited to those only technique. You can use the PowerShell to send your data. If you best in PowerShell, you can create your own command. If you master in burp, you can use the burp collaborator or different manner of the burp, using a different manner of burp. Metasploit also provides many utility to leak data. If you use Docker, if you use DNS query, DNS based leak. Also, sometimes application have its own firewall, application level or organization level. So you can leak data using firewall also. Some kind of FTP server, if it's file-based operation, or I can say doc file, PPT file operation, you can leak data using those files also. Linux have a many utility to send data and execute command. So you can use your own technique to leak the data. Okay, let's move to the second point, code injection. So in general terms, attacker send its own code to server, and server will interpret it or execute that particular code. Okay, so as per definition, attacker is only limited by the functionality of the injected language itself. If you put a Python language or server running on the Python, you can just put only Python language. If an attacker is able to inject particular code, particular language code, okay, into the application, and it's how it's executed, is only limited to by whatever language is capable of. So I give one example. So there are many languages available in web application manner. So attackers send some request or code injection in different language, and server will involve such kind of function like eval function, include function, and our code will pass in such kind of function like in eval, in include. So once that type of function involve our injected code, it will execute on server side. So you can consider it as a code injection. So using code injection, you can perform several operation like file operation and whatever types of operation provided by language capability. So I start with the Python code injection. So suppose if you send some code to the server, and server will interpret or execute your code. So for example, the particular eval function in Python used for the parsing expression argument. For example, if I put evaluate is equal to input for the input data, and I just use the print function for display the expression, and just type of evaluate. So first it asks for the specific expression. I use the x plus 862 plus 100 minus 35. It's for the just identification. Okay, and it's type of string. If I use the x is equal to 10 and the type of x, it displays its integer type. So if you check, the first expression is the types of string, and my second x is equal to 10 is types of integer. But if I put the evaluate in eval function and print the expression, it resolves the string and integer, and resolution of the specific numerical operation. It performs the mathematical expression and displays the output. Similar matter, suppose if your application is built on Python based application, and it getting cookie C1 in this manner, like get cookie C1 and store in value in cookie variable, and later on it's passes on eval function, okay, and it displays the output. So you can find the Python code injection in Burp. Burp use eval functionality like eval and compile for x in range 1 and colon. It's import the time function for the delay and use the time.sleep for 20-second delay. So once this command is executed, or this code is executed on the server side, it will delay on 20 seconds, and you can easily identify the Python based code injection. Okay, so what's the other? If your application is built on Python 2.7, you can use this expression or this payload. So like print, this is a Python eval interpreted output. It displays the only, this is a Python eval interpreted output string. So you can consider this a Python based injection. If you pass the exit function and application is stopped, then you can consider the Python based event, and you can put some based expression. Also, you can put some file operation like file etc pass.read. If you pass this our payload, Python payload, you can find a response right in a specific file operation. There is a many operation if it's directly not involve the file operation, because if it's not import file operation file library, So you can import the file input and use the input function in this manner, underscore, so import underscore in square bracket file input and dot use the input function. Similar manner, if you import OS library and use the system function, you can able to execute your OS command. Okay. There is another manner if it's only involve but not print. So you can use the print function to those commands output. If it's occurs some error and not displays or display the 500 pages, you can put such kind of try catch block and some catch warning, and in catch you can catch the output. And there is another way to catch warning in a different manner, like this is for the first interpretation, and the second part is for reading file and some execute some OS command. In such manner, if above payload is not work, you can consider like module built-in function and put the same looping in another manner. Okay. You can so like different command, it displays the same output. You can use the different payload to identify such kind of Python based code execution or code injection. What if they use the Python 3? So in Python 3, it's a slightly different. Like if I want to list out whole directory, so you can use the ct/ and Python local Python server. So in previous manner, you can use the Python-m simple HTTP server. Okay, but in HTTP Python 3, you can use the Python 3-m and the HTTP server. This payload for 2.7 Python 2.7 to run or open the local server, but you can use the Python 3-m HTTP server for the Python 3 payload, and you can consider these commands slightly different from syntax as syntactically different from Python 2.7. Let's move to the Ruby code injection. So Ruby have its own eval function to dynamically build a new Ruby code based string. So you can consider like my variable, my input is stored in some variable. Like my input is a system, and in bracket bean cat, and second argument is the passability. And later on the server side, it's evaluate in the eval function. So it's similar. It will execute my command using the binary. So you can say send the output. If there's some restriction implemented in the system command, you can perform several operations using file.open or different manner. Like I just puts it similar to print. You can use the puts and use the file.open using the file read, and you can use the read function. Once it's involved in eval operation, it will display your output. Okay, so you can perform a different operation using Ruby code injection. You just need to learn Ruby operation, and you can say you just need to learn how to code in Ruby. In Perl, there is two types of eval. There's the eval expr and eval block. So in expression, expr executes it is a very little Perl program, and in block you can put your own block, code block in Perl. So I just use the expr. So I use exec and pass some command, execute command, and once it's evolve in eval function, it will execute it in the Perl. Similar manner, you can use the system function also to execute command in Perl. So if you want to some file-based operation, you can use the open function, open method to read etc passability, and using the print $_ using read the particular file. In PHP code injection, you can find the eval and include function. So in similar manner, once you send system function with some command, once they implement eval, and eval is pass your output and displays the command output. Similar, you can use fread and fopen method to read the file, and you can use the echo command to print the output on the PHP page. Similar manner, if my parameter involves in eval function, you can send some system command and some kind of internal PHP function, and it will execute on the page and it displays output in the page. In same manner, code injection, you can use your own technique in Go, in Ruby and Dart language, in JSP or Java, in PHP, in Perl, in Python, or several more languages, R and the Node.js, ER language, C#. So you need to just identify the language, application language, just identify the single line code injection or build a code injection payload and put everywhere in header and parameter. We never know where the implementation or that's involved, right? Just 1 minute. Okay. So let's move. Okay. Third part is the server side include. So SSI is nothing but it's a directive to present web application to feed some kind of HTML or dynamic content. They are similar to CGIs, or expect SSI are used to execute some action before current page is loaded. So you can say like I'm requesting to the server for index.shtml, htm or shtm page, and server identify there is an index.html present, but code itself there's a 3 line. First is include file header.html. Second is it's involved the first header.html involved in this page. Second, execute some CGI script, login.cgi. It's input the CGI script into particular page, and last portion is a footer.html. So my HTML page include only 3 lines, but involve the different manner, or involve the HTML file, CGI script, or different pages, right? Mentioned in this particular page. So I can say many my colleagues say there is an older injection you can't find on the latest system, but it's not true, because Apache, Lightspeed, Nginx, IIS, as well as W3 Zixo are supported SSI. So you can find a latest version of Apache. It also supports server-side include. Nginx server also supported SSI. You can say that like latest version of IIS 10 also supports server-side include, and Lightspeed also supports the server-side include. So you never know when developer involves such kind of server-side include in particular page, and your input involves in such case. So what is the syntax? So syntax is similar to HTML comment, but whenever it's involved in SSI processing. So first part is a directive, second part is a parameter, what you want in particular parameter like file, CGI, variable, and some parameter value. So directory are placed like such of HTML content. So if it's not executed or not unable, you can find on the HTML page, right? You need to search on the in page source, and if you find such kind of directives, it means it's involved or it's written in the particular page. So once you use the include directives, so you can use the parameter as a file or virtual, and you put your CGI script or HTML script or text script, whatever you want, you just add include and such file. Second manner is exec. So using exec, you use the as a parameter CGI or CMD. If you want to execute some CGI script and some command, So you can use the parameter as CGI and CGI script, or if you want to execute some command, you use the CMD is equal to parameter value as your command output. Sometimes you want to print your user agent, some last modification, or kind of accept headers or your IP address. So that time you use some echo directives, and as a parameter is where and your specific echo directives values. Print environment. So it displays name itself. It describes the print environment variable, user defined variables. And the F size or fast mode, it displays the file size, and you can flash more of this particular file. There is many directory available. You can find on the server side, include link Wikipedia or different, depend on this what is server involves. If it's involve IS server, you need to just go to the Microsoft site and find the server side include page. So my first example, if I put my server displays my first name and last name, and if I put some directory like exec and cmd is equal to k to execute my cat command, so in result you can find the result of the cmd function in the second page. So you can put or you can achieve the OS command injection using the server side include as well. Okay, so let's Pratham Adhyay Samap. And if you have any question, you can put a question in the live stream. I will question the answer in live stream as well after this finish the session. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. I stop my screen share.
Thank you.